What's up, YouTube? I'm gonna do a quick impromptu video here. Need to run out for a quick minute. Haven't pre-started the car, didn't precondition. We're just gonna hop in and go and give the heat a try, see what we get. I got my little laser thermometer, and I got a thermostat in the car. So we'll see how the heat performs. Okay, so it's not extremely cold out. The car is reading 35. Google's estimating 36. But in their weather app, they're saying feels like 27. I will turn the heat on. We'll get that going. I put this old thermostat that I had in my house in the car. It's been sitting in here. So the interior of the car is at about 42. I'm going to try to leave this in the back seat to get a good feel for what the heat gets to in the car back there. I'll use the thermometer here to give the degrees coming out of the vents. Right now it's not on, but it's at about 55.3 in there. Alright, I've got the heat on at 72. I've got my seat warmer on medium and the steering wheel heater on. The e-heat is on. We're gonna do this so that it's coming out in the back and the front. We'll put this to leave that at auto for now. You can hear the fans kicking on. Okay, about 5 minutes of runtime so far. My buns are pretty toasted from the seat warmer. I'll end up turning that to low or off. The steering wheel gets nice and warm, not unbearably hot. It would be nice if this had a high, medium, low as well, but it's definitely a comfortable temperature. Definitely up at the heating elements must be more in the top parts where your hands are supposed to be. Down here it's warm but not as warm. Currently getting a reading of about 104, 106 depending on where I put the laser, coming out of the front vents. Getting about a 97 on that vent there. This vent isn't blowing anything out, but it's reading about 68. Alright, so just about 11 minutes of driving. The thermostat that I have in the back seat, trying to keep it out of direct sunlight, trying to keep it away from directly getting blown on from the little vent back there. So in about this 11 minutes of driving, we've gotten to 51 degrees as an internal temperature in the cabin. Again, not too bad. It's not a super cold day. We'll redo this on one of the frigid days, but so far 12 minutes in, we're at 51. I've got it set to 72. We'll see if it ever actually gets there. That might be a little bit hotter than comfortable for me. Let's see what we get.
Right onto New
So now I've turned the fan manually up to full blast. The air coming out of the vents is noticeably cooler. It's actually blowing coldish air on me. You can see the e-heat is still on, still set to 72. The current reading coming out of there is about 83 in parts, 90s, 92, 91. So much cooler than it was, about 10 degrees different. Alright, just over 20 minutes of driving. Overall, relatively efficient. I'm just driving on back roads, so most places. So not using a ton of energy to move the vehicle at a higher rate of speed, so that's keeping us in that 2.83 range. You can see climate use being 18%. Got this set to auto high. The interior temperature at this point is now 61. Again, this is the reading from the back seat. Temperature coming out of the vent is about 93. If you notice, when you're in auto for the temp here, you don't get much control on this screen, and once if you want it coming out of the vents, it turns off this auto and goes to this auto. I don't know what the difference is in the two, but you can adjust the fan speed. I would say if you're someone who likes a lot of hot air blowing in your face coming out of the heater, I have yet to experience that with this vehicle. That's not my ideal driving situation, hot air blowing in my face, but having a bunch of hot air to quickly warm up the cabin would be nice. It's coming along pretty well. I'm comfortable just driving along these New Hampshire country roads. Like I said before, relatively efficient. The Mustang Mach-E, I would call it a design flaw or a miss by Ford in this first generation, is it doesn't come equipped with a heat pump. I know others will tell you that heat pumps lose their efficiency at extremely low temperatures, but I think by not having it, you're kind of inconveniencing all to not inconvenience a few. I'd like to see that added in the future. So the heating element in here is just like an electric heater you could have in your house. Just takes the electricity, heats up a coil essentially, and blows air over it to get that air into the cabin. If I remember, it's a 5 kilowatt, 5,000 watt electric heater that is used in this vehicle. And I'll use this red light as an opportunity to grab this thing from the back. About a half hour in, 28 minutes in, we're at 63 degrees in the back seat. Just trying to get a good gauge on cabin air temperature.
In a quarter mile, turn left.
Alright, just got on the highway, 30 minutes. Blue cruising. Keeping my eyes on the road, trying to not block the sensor with my phone. Coming out of that vent, it's about 99, 100 degrees. Temperature in the cabin, still 62. Temperature set to 72. I look down. Temperature set to 72. With the vents turned on, you can see the E-heat is currently running. Okay, 35 minutes in, I just turned the heat all the way up to high to see what that would do. And that really kicked on the fans. It's blowing air, but again, it feels like cool air. Coming out of that vent, 87, 96. Again, it depends on where the laser hits, but about 100 in there. Definitely feels like it's cooling down in the car a little bit. Looking at my trusty home thermostat here. Pulled it out of the back seat. We're looking at 62 degrees currently. Doesn't quite seem like it's getting any warmer in here. I'm about 10 minutes away from my destination. Got a quick stop to make. I'm going to keep the car running and then just kind of get an idea of what we're getting for temps. The efficiency's gone down a little because we're on the highway. We're doing 75. So that's taken us down a little bit. You can see the climate is still only 15% of that. Starting to warm up. Coming up on 40 minutes here. I just switched over to recirculating the air inside the car, since the air in the car is going to be warmer than the outside air at this point. Figured I'd use that. It is noticeably warmer with that on. It's starting to heat up in here pretty good. Now I'm getting 119 coming out of that vent, so that's been a big jump compared to where we were. 126. Definitely getting hot in here. Grab that thermostat. Starting to climb. We're at 67 degrees. So that uncomfortable hot air blowing in your face that I mentioned earlier in the video, I've definitely found where that is at this point. It's blowing pretty hard. It's pretty hot in here. Definitely hotter than I would deal with on a regular basis. Okay, got to where I wanted to get to. It's 44 minutes here. Still going strong with this heat. Getting 145 coming out of the vent. Or 145 in the vent. Like 117, 120 on the plastic just in front of the vent. Reaching back, grabbing my thermostat. From the back seat, we've gotten up to 75 degrees. And in doing that, you can see what the usage was overall. Got dinged a little on speed for the highway, but 2.6 with the heater running. I'm going to let this run for a minute, but I'm going to turn it down. It's too damn hot. Alright, picked up what I needed, left the car running. So now we're at 52 minutes here. Let's see what the vents are reading. So those are back down into the high 90s, low 100s. I've got it set to 77. It was at 75 when we left not too long ago. Back seat's still reading 79. We'll keep it at 77. Let it modulate the heat itself, and we'll drive home. And I'll check in when I get back home and give a final breakdown. All right, pretty close to getting off the highway and getting back on the country roads. Just being on the highway a couple times, you can see that dropped our efficiency down to 2.4. Still running at 77. Just reached back, grabbed the thermostat. Hopefully that's coming through on the camera. 77 is what it's reading in the back seat. So it got us back down to 77. It's holding it there. It's pretty comfortable in here. The heat's not blowing in my face. Alright, we're back home. Didn't really gain too much more of that efficiency back, but we were driving for a little over an hour and a half. Not really driving. That includes the little bit of time I stopped to run some errands. 58 miles. Maintained the temperature in the car. From the back seat, we're still at 77, so the heat works pretty well once you get it up to heat. I think running it on high with the circulating air really warmed it up in here. That was probably the quick heat up. Coming out of the vents right now, 105. Plastic right in front of the vents, like 92. Still got about 65 down in the underneath. Most of the heat's been coming out of these upper vents. The panel over there, 69 giggity. But it's warm, it's comfortable in here. Relatively efficient.